So I guess we are live, guys. Hi everyone. Can you let me know if I'm audible and if I'm visible? Yes, guys. Good evening, everyone. And this is the last day of our React Bootcamp. Yes, guys. Am I audible and am I visible at the same point of time? Okay, guys. Great. Just give me a sec, guys. Okay. So let's proceed, guys. So let's wait for 2 more minutes, okay, for people to join, and then we'll start with whatever we need to talk about today. Yeah, guys. So today we won't be discussing anything new. We will be just talking about the different aspects of React, which we have already talked about in our previous classes. We'll try to make something very small, right? We'll try to use the different concepts which we have used and we'll try to make something on top of it. Okay, that is what we will do for today. So let's wait for 1 more minute max to max, and then we can start with our class, guys. Yep. So we already have something like this, right? We already know we have created nothing but a home page and a contact page. Now guys, what we'll do is we won't require a second page, which is contact page for now. We'll just keep it, but we won't be doing anything with it. We'll directly be working with the home page. Okay. Now we'll go to the home page. Yeah guys, good evening everyone. And we'll clean everything, guys. We don't need anything inside it. We'll clean everything. We'll clear it. We'll basically make it completely clear. Yes. And now we don't even need a use state for now, and we don't need anything at the bottom. We'll do everything from the fresh starting. We'll just have the routing functionality with us. Now in the cards, guys, which we created earlier, card contained basically this sort of value, right? So I'll just remove this h1 and I'll just remove this props. So we don't require them. I'll just remove that. Now, what we are going to do, guys. So what we'll do is we'll simply create something like, let's say, a navigation menu and everything. Okay. So what we'll do, we will create a basic website where I can see different products on my screen, and then I can select, or basically I can choose, or basically I can buy a particular product. So that is what I'll be doing. Very simple. We'll be just looking into what all possible things you can do with the knowledge which we have gained. Okay. So for now, we have our home and our card component. That is fine. Now, the first thing we can do after this is we can go to our, basically we need to create two components. So we know we will always have a navigation and a footer, right? We won't be writing anything inside it, but we at least need to place them somewhere. So we will create two files. We'll call them navigation dot, or you can say navbar.jsx. And similar to that, we will also create a footer.jsx. So these are the two files we will be creating. Now we know what we need to do inside it. We need to import React from, and we need to import it from React library. After that, we need to create a function which is nothing but footer, and that body would basically contain a return statement. For now, as we know that we have a semantic tag for creating a footer that is like this, so we can simply use not this one, guys, but with a small, yes, footer like this. So we will use this footer tag, and after that we will say export default, and we can say the footer function which we created. So we have created a footer function. I'll not waste time. I'll just copy it. I'll go to navbar. I'll paste it here, and I'll just change the footer wherever we have used here and here first to navbar. So we are creating a navbar, and we can use the nav comp, basically not a component, the nav tag which we have inside HTML. So we have created a nav and a footer, right? Now let's just show something inside it. What we can do for now, we can just show a h1 which says this, or we can say this is a navigation menu. Okay. and we can close the H1. Similarly in the, sorry, we are in the footer, right? So we can not display it here, we need to display it here. So this will basically display that this is a navigation menu, and the footer will display this is a footer, not menu but section. Now guys, we have created our navbar and our footer, basically a placeholder for them. Now we'll place them somewhere. So you can see it is completely empty for now. The reason being I have not imported and used them anywhere. Now guys, one thing to understand. So if you remember inside our app.js, you know that we created a home and a contact page. Now, irrespective of I am at home or a contact page, it does not matter. I'll always have a header and a footer. It will always be present with me. So where do I need to place them? Do I need to place them in a home component? Nope, I don't need to. Because if I place them in the home component, then I'll have to import header and footer, and I'll have to place it inside this file. Similarly, if I place it inside contact component, then I'll again have to import header and footer, and I'll have to place it at a particular position. But I know that both of them, header and footer, will stay even if I am at home page or a contact page. So rather than importing them in these components, I can directly import it here. That will be the best way. So what I can do, I can simply import the component. So we can import footer from, I need to go inside components folder and footer. I've imported the footer. Similarly, I'll also import navbar, and we'll say from, and it will say slash component slash navbar. Yep guys. So now we have the navbar and the footer. Absolutely. Now after or before this switch statement, I need to have my navbar. So I can just simply place the navbar here. That's it. Now I'll see my navbar always at the top. Then I'll see either the home page or the contact page. And then at the bottom, after the switch statement, I can place my footer. And that's it. Our problem is resolved. Now, irrespective of I am at home page or a contact page, does not matter. I'll always have a navbar and a footer at the top and the bottom. So yeah, you can see I have, this is a nav menu and this is a footer section. Now let's do one more thing so that we see that. Okay, rather than doing anything, we can just go to the contact page, and I'll show you that yes, on the contact page also you can see this is my nav menu, this is my footer section. So irrespective of you are at contact page or you are at the main home page, you always see the navbar and the footer. That is the reason we excluded it from the route, because they need to be placed at every single page irrespective of any page. That is how simple it is to place a component, a navbar and a footer. Now what we can do for now, let's style the navbar and a footer a little bit so that they can be displayed. So what we can do in the navbar, we can just create a style and we can write some style. So we can say a background of, let's say, black, and it will be inside double inverted, right? We have a background of black, I guess. And yep, after that we'll also have some padding, and padding would be of 10 pixels in all the directions, so we can give it a padding of 10 pixels. After the padding, we'll also have the color. We'll change the color to be of white so that it is visible. And if I go back, I can see this is my navigation menu. Similarly, the same styles I want for my footer so that it is quite visible to the users. So what I can do, I can just simply copy these styles. Okay, let me just zoom out a little. Yep. So again, zoom in. Yes. So I'll just copy these styles and I'll paste the same styles in the footer as well. In the footer here. And again, I'll have to place them in style like this. And now I can zoom in to whatever size I have. Yes. Now if I go back, I'll see the navigation and the footer in the exact same shape. Yes, I can see them and they seem to be perfectly fine without a problem. Okay, now what else do I need to do? I have my navigation and footer. Now I can start working on my app. You can see home page. So in my home page, I will be showing my different card components. So in my home page, what I'll be doing is I'll be saying let's say a h1 which says this is the list of products. This is what we will say here. So you can see in my home page, I will see at the middle, this is my list of products. After that, I will show the product list. So what do I want to do? I just want to show a list of what I want to show, a list of cards. So that is what I need to do. I need to use the card component. So we need to use the card component, right? We have already imported it earlier. We'll use it here multiple times. Now guys, we know that in the card component, we need to basically display, or we need to do something here because this does not look very well. Yeah, you can see this is our card and this does not look very well. So we can just style it a little just for the sake of it. We'll remove everything. We'll just give it a margin of 3 rem on top and bottom and 0 on left and right. Now you can see this is how it looks. We have some spacing, 3 rem and let's say 2 rem on left and right. Yep. And this should be basically on the card. Okay, fine. After that, we will give it a border, let's say border of 2 pixel, solid and gray. Gray border we'll give them. Then we'll also give it a border radius of 5 pixels so that they have rounded corners. And after that, we will give them a minimum height so that at least they have a minimum height of, let's say 300 pixels and a width of, let's say minimum width, or let's say width of 250 pixels. Now if we go back and refresh, you can see this is our card, right? It does not contain any data, but yes, this is our card. Now for the card, what do I want to show? I'll show a random image at the top. So I'll say product images. So let's say this is our image. This is a product which I'm selling. I'll just copy this image, right? I'll copy the link address. I'll go back and I'll use it here. So what I want to do is I want to show an image at the top. So I'll show an image at the top. It will have an alt attribute and it will also have a source attribute. The source attribute will contain the image link. Now guys, this is what the image link seems to be like. Now let me just refresh and see if the image is visible. Okay, the image is not visible. Let me just copy image address, paste it in a new page. Okay, it has been downloaded. Weird. Now we can basically take it from here, copy image address, go here, and now we can paste it like this, and it should be visible in our output. Now it should be very large in size. Yes, you can see it is very wide in size. That is not a problem, we can fix it. But yeah, we have an image now. Now after the product image, what I want to do is, okay, let's first fix the product image. That will be better. So we'll say card, and then inside the card I want to select the image. I'll say a width of, let's say 100%, and if I go back and if I refresh, now you can see this is how much width it takes. Now guys, one more thing we can do is we can say overflow of hidden, so that I don't see this overflow and I need to do it here basically. Now if I go back and refresh the page, yep, I can see it is rounded in corners now. Absolutely, that's what I wanted. Now at the bottom I need to add some content, so let's add it here. After this I want to add what? I want to add some details. So I can say h1, or let's not say h1, h1 is too large. I'll say h3 and I'll close the h3 tag, and let's say a product, you can say product details, like we can say some product details. So we can just say the product is a camera, right? And we can see if the details are displayed. Yes, we can see it is being displayed. It is a camera. And after that we can display some more details about it. So what I'll do is, rather than doing it directly, I'll create a div for it, and inside the div I will show the camera, and to this div we will have a class name so that we can style it properly. The class name can be card dash content. Now the card that content is very easy to style. We can just say inside the card content, I want to give it a padding. I want to give it of 10 pixels in top and bottom and 10 pixels in left and right. I just want to test how much wide it will be. Okay, so yeah, I don't think we will need a padding on the top and bottom, so we can remove it to 0. We just need it on left and right side, which we can see we got. Now one more thing I want to check is that this camera H3 element has some margin at the top and bottom, which we really don't want. You can see we have some weird margin which gives it a lot of spacing. So what I can do, I can say in my card container or in my card content, okay, let's do it not here. Let's do it somewhere else. So guys, let's go to styles.css. This is our main file and I need to do something here. What I need to say is before this, I want to apply some default styles to all the elements. I'll say universal selector. I'll say I don't want any padding for any element, so I'll say 0 pixels, and I don't want any margin by default, so I'll say 0 pixels, and I'll say box sizing to be of border box, and that should fix it. Now if I refresh, now you can see I don't have any extra spacing at the top. Now let's also just use a font family. I don't like this font family which we have by default. What we can use is Sigoi UI. I think that will look fine. Let's check. Yes, this looks way better, right? So you can see this is our product name which we are able to see. After that, we can also show, let's say, 2 buttons. So we will show a div. That div will basically contain what? It will contain a button, and then it will again contain another button, and here in between it will say add +1, and it will say subtract -1. Okay, that is what these buttons will say, and in between we will have, let's say, the products, we can say final value, or basically the detail or the number, whatever it is. For now, let's say we use 4. So by default, or let's say 1. So by default, the value of the product is, or the number of products you are seeing in your cart is, let's say 1. But if you want to increase the number, you can click on this. If you want to decrease the number you have in the cart, number of elements you have in the cart, you can click on subtract -1. That's it. Now what you can do, you can simply say that I want to style this by saying class name, and the class name can be quantity container, quantity underscore container, quantity container. Now I can target it. I can say quantity container, and let's say in the quantity container, the first thing I do is display of flex. Okay, align items to be at center, and justify content to be of space between. Now if I go back, they will have equal spacing in between them, absolutely the way I wanted them to be. So left it says add 1, right it says subtract 1, and whenever I click on them, I should be able to add and subtract this cost. That is what I want to do. Now how to do this? Simple. We used, or we basically learned about something known as use state. So we can create a state for it. We can say use state, we import it, and now we can create here a use state. Now we can say use state, or not like this. Basically we'll have something known as quantity and set quantity, and which will be equal to use state, and by default the quantity would be 1. Now what we need to do, we need to display this quantity here. So I'll use curly braces to display this variable. Now I should see this new variable which I created here, and if I want to increment add 1, what I need to do is I need to chain a on click. Now what I want to do in the on click, pretty simple. I can say that I want to create an unnamed function so that I don't go into that for loop or infinite loop, and then I can say set quantity. Now guys, set quantity, we can say that I want to increase it by 1. So whatever the quantity is, I want to add it by 1. So now if I go back, I should be able to increment the quantity. You can see, yes, I can increase the quantity, but I'm not still able to decrease it. So what I need to do here is, again, I need to create an on click. And then I need to say here, we'll have to do a little bit difference here. Okay, now we will say that I should be able to decrease the quantity, but there is a condition for it. Okay, so I can't directly do set quantity before checking a condition, which is quantity check. I'll say if quantity, and then I'll apply a question mark. Then I'll do something, and then I'll say that, you can say like this. So what do I need to say? I need to say if quantity is greater than equal to, or let's say if greater than 0, right? It means if quantity is positive, if it is at least greater than, let's say 1, then I should be able to increase it or basically decrease it. So I don't want anything possible that if initially the quantity is 1, then if I click on subtract 1, it goes to 0. And then if I click on subtract 1, then it goes to negative. So I don't want it to be able to go to 0 or negative, right? So I just added a check here. I said, if the quantity is greater than 1, then only I should be able to use this set quantity function here. So I'll say if this is true. So question mark, if this is the case, then I want to do this. So basically I want to run this function where it says quantity minus 1. And if this is not the case, then I want to do, you can say null. That means I want to do nothing. So what does it do? It says that on click, if you click on this button, and if the quantity is greater than 1, then only it will be reduced by 1, or else it will do nothing. So if I go back and refresh the page, by default, it is 1. And if I try to subtract, you can see nothing happens. But if I increase the value by 2, and now if I try to subtract, you can see it reduced to 1. If I increase it more, I will be able to reduce it. But the time I strike 1 endpoint, then I won't be able to do anything. Simple and smart. So I can't reduce the product's value lesser than 1, which I want to buy. Simple logic. That is what we are doing here. And I don't think I need to explain it again what we are exactly doing. So yeah, now what we need to do after that. So we need to also apply something known as a gap of 1 rem between all the elements so that they are separated, which won't make any difference. Fine. After that, what we need to do? Now let's style it a little. So we'll say a margin on the top and bottom of 1 rem so that they have a little bit of spacing at the top and bottom. Now you can see they have some spacing, and I don't want any on the left and right, so I'll say 0. Now you can see this is how it looks. Yeah guys, good evening everyone. So after that, what I want to do, I want to also target the button. So I'll say inside it, I also have a button, and to that button, I want to apply a padding. Nothing but padding, and that should be 10, not rem, sorry, 10 pixels. And I want to apply the padding to the buttons of 10 pixels in all the directions. And yes, you can see this is how they look. What I want to do, on the top, I want 5 pixels. On the left and right, I want 10 pixels. Yep, this seems to be pretty legit. Yeah, guys, you can perform, see, it was a very small logic. That's why I performed it here, right? But if you think you have, you can say number of lines to do, I'll show you another solution. So this will exactly work. It is 1 line of code. But if it is rather greater than 1 line of code, I would not suggest doing it here. What you can do, simply create a new function here. So you can say const, and you can say, let's say decrease quantity, and which will be equals to nothing but a unnamed function. And inside this function, you can do whatever you want to. Let's say in the decreased quantity, I say that I want to do the same thing which I did here, right? So I can just remove this functionality from here, and I can add this functionality to this function which I created. Now I can use this function wherever I want. So if I want it here, I can just use it like this, simple. So now I just replace that functionality with another function which I created at the top here. That's it. That is what you can do. Now guys, here, let's just check if it is working or not, because I think I might have done something wrong. No, okay, it is working. Yeah. So yes, you can see it totally works. So if you have more than one line of code, yes, you can definitely create a separate function and then call that function here. That also totally works without a problem. We can just say return of null, or let's not do anything here. That seems to be fine. Now guys, what else? We were styling the card, right? So let's do that. So they seem to be fine. I just don't need any border, so I'll just remove the border. I'll say border none. Now they should not have any border. And yeah, these are the buttons. I also need them to have a cursor of pointer so that people know that yes, they can select or they can basically do something with them. Yes, you can see a little bit of it. I will make them black in color so that they match the theme. Can be not the color, sorry, the background. The background color needs to be black and the foreground, the color needs to be white. Go back, refresh the page, and you can see this is how our buttons look. Fine. They look, I will say fine for now. Now guys, one more thing you can do if you just want them to look a little bit more, you can say specifically good enough. You can say a display of, or let's not say a display of flex. That should be fine, not a problem. It will make the things a little bit complex without any reason. Yeah, now you can see this. Now guys, CSS works exactly the same. So if you want to apply a hover effect on a particular element, that is exactly the same. You can select hover and you can say whenever I hover over this element, I want to change the color from background black to, let's say, a little bit of grayish. So I can just move to a lighter shade like this. Now whenever I hover over it, the shade should be changed. Yes, you can see the shade is changing, right? Rather I did something weird. I should have made this primary color go at the bottom. That will be much better. So by default they will be lighter in shade, and whenever I hover over them they will get a little bit, you can see. Yes, this is what I wanted. Now what else can I do? I don't think now require this width or basically this minimum height which I specified. So if I just remove it, what happens? Let's check. Yep guys, this seems to be pretty legit to me for now. If you want a little bit, description can also be displayed to the user. So let's display a little bit of description. So for the card, if you want to display a description, you can simply add a paragraph. And in the paragraph, what you need to do, we can say lorem ipsum. So we are just showing some random text. Okay. So if I refresh the page, you can see we have some random text and it seems to be a little bit white. So I'll just remove some random text from here. And now you can see this is how it seems to be. Now I just need to decrease the size a little because it is too wide for to be displayed. So we can say card container. Where is it? So you have card container or the card content, right? So we can say dot card content, and inside it we have a paragraph. And inside it we can say a font size. I just want to decrease the font size a little. So we can say font size of 15 pixels, I guess. So seems to be fine. So let's check. 15, not 15. Let's go for 13, 11. Yep, this seems to be fine. So this is our basic description. I just need to give a little bit spacing at the top. So for that, I can just say a break tag here. I can apply a break tag here. Go back and I should have a little bit space at the top as well. Yes, you can see. So this is our card which I want to display. Now guys, this and this image is a unique content, right? I know the buttons would stay the same, but this data or the details about the camera, this image of a particular, you can say product, and this camera, these all will change time for different products, right? That is what we know. So how can we do that? Now let's just see how we can create multiple cards. It is very simple. I can just say card, copy it and paste it 3 more times and I should have 3 cards. Let's see. You can see I have 3 cards. Now let me just do one thing. You can see they are not being displayed next to each other. For that, what I can do, I can just simply display them inside a div. And after inside the div, I can just stay a style here. I don't want to create a separate style sheet for it. So I'll just display the styles here. I'll say display of type flex. Now they will be shown next to each other. Yeah, you can see they are shown next to each other. I need to also say one more thing, which is flex wrap. So wrap of wrap. Therefore, now if there is more cards, so basically if there is more than one card, it will be displayed at the bottom. That is what I want, right? So you can see this is how they are being displayed. Or let me just add one more card. So to this card, let's just reduce the width to 30. I guess that should work. Now one more thing I want to check, that they have a little bit of padding, I guess, around them. Okay, yeah. So they have a margin as well, right? So I need to remove that margin for the card. That is giving me a little bit of problem. So each and every card has this margin. I need to remove it. I can make them back to 50 pixels. If I go back, refresh. Yes, they are next to each other. Yes, they don't have spacing. That is fine. We can fix it. But yeah, now they are next to each other. Now we can do one more thing. I can say a gap. I can say a gap of 1 rem between each and every one of them, so that they have internal gap between them, spaces between them. I can see I have the spaces between them. After that, now I can align them. I can say, let's say a margin as well. A margin of 1 rem in all the directions. If I refresh, you can see I have 1 rem margin. Let's say 1 rem, and at the top and bottom, I want a little bit more spacing. So yes, now I can see this is how they look. One more thing I need to do, we can say align items to be at center and justify content to be at center. Now they will be centrally aligned, right? Yes, you can see this is how they are displayed. Okay. After that, what else we can do? So this seems to be fine. And if I add more cards, you will see that they will automatically move to the next line. So if I just copy them and paste them again, you'll be able to see they just navigate to the next line. Yes. So you can see this is a proper card structure which we have, product details and everything. Yes. Now if I just change one of them, you can see any other ones of them are not being changed. So guys, state, you can see definitely we have copy of components, but each of these components are individual, guys. Okay, they are not related. That is why if I change any product details, or basically if I change any state in one component, it does not affect the copy of the same component. So basically they are two different components, or being, you can say, depicted as different components. Okay, that is the reason if I change the size here, you can see it does not matter in any of the other components, although they are just copies. But yes, it does not matter because they all have their own state. That is one of the things to remember. But yes, you can see they seem to be working fine. Now what we can do, guys, we can make them pretty dynamic with the help of props. So till now we were showing the data like this. Now I can just change it and we can say that I'll accept the data with the help of props. And in my props, I will have something like props.url, which will display the image URL. So what I can do, I can accept here a URL parameter or attribute, and I can display this image here, right? Now one more thing, it contains, this URL contains some unnecessary stuff. I can remove it. So yeah, I am sending a image URL. You can say like this. Similarly, what else do I need? I need a URL. I need some content, basically the name of the product. So I can say one more thing here, name. So I also need to have a name. For the first one, we have camera. Now we'll add more products. So for the next one, we'll also have new products. So for that, we'll have some new name and details. Now to show here the name, for now I'm showing the random static name. So I can remove it and make it dynamic by saying props dot name. And now every data is dynamic. I can choose some more images from here and I can show them. Let's say this is my, I don't know what this is, but I'll just copy the image address. Okay, and we'll go here and we will change this image and I'll paste the new one. And you can see this will be a new image. I'll still have the camera written here, but my image would change. Yes, you can see the image changed. Now guys, the reason they are of different heights, let's just sort that problem, small problem as well. That is because I've not specified a height. So let's specify a height of 200 pixels and let's see how they look. First, let's see 200 pixels is fine or not. Okay, 200 pixels is, I think, fine. I just need to add two more properties. So object fit of cover and object position of center. Now what these two properties do, if you can see, my camera image seems to be a little bit smushed at this point, stretched, right? So to resolve this, I can use these two properties and you will see now the images will be perfect. Yes, you can see they're perfect. So that is what you can use. Okay, when you are specifying a height and width, and if the image does not match that height and width, you can use these properties to crop the unnecessary part automatically. Now let's add one more image. So we have our last card, right? And for that also we need to add these two properties. Now here we can just say lighter for now. I have no idea what that is, but we'll just consider it to be something. Now you can say for this, you can say copy image address. This is a wide image, but let's check if it works. I have no idea if it will work or not. Let's save it, go back. Okay, yeah, it seems to be fine. So we will say this is Alexa, right? So we have three products in our cart, or basically in our display. We have camera, we have lighter, we have Alexa, and we can select how many of the items do I want to buy. I want to buy 3 cameras, I want to buy 2 lighters, and I want to buy 5 Alexas. Okay, that is what I can do, and I can keep on adding the data, guys. That is how simple it is. So what else can we add? Okay, Coca-Cola. That seems to be nice. This image won't be displayed properly. I think there won't be, but let's just see. So if I want to create a new card, it is very simple. I just add two things. The first one is URL. That we already know. I need to just paste an image link. After that, I want to add a name, which can be anything. I can say Coca-Cola, and I can refresh the page and I can expect a new card which shows a Coca-Cola can. Absolutely. You can see everything is fine. Now guys, this is just a random, you can say project, small project I'm showing you, and I'm showing you how much powerful it can be for you to create small or even large scale websites. You can see I just created a cart based system where I can increase, decrease the number of products. I can show them. I can have a page and everything. And if I go to another page, I will still be able to see the navbar and everything. So yes, you can see to the contact page I am, but still I am able to see the content and everything. But yes, that is what I wanted to show you, that yes, it is possible to do that. Sure guys, now you can do this. And guys, one more thing I can show you. Okay, let's say that if there is one more option I can do. Okay, so rather than just showing this button, right? I can just also show here disabled. That will the best. Okay, so if my minimum quantity is set, then I can show here a disabled button. Okay, so I can just say that whenever a user is buying these things, they also have something known as a minimum attribute. Minimum attribute, and its minimum is different. So this is minimum 2, this is minimum 3, this is minimum, let's say 5, this is minimum, let's say 6. Now, this is the minimum quantity you need to buy. At least, okay, minimum quantity you should buy for a particular product, or else you cannot buy that product. So how will I show that? How will I show that change here? Very simple. Now I know I have a minimum property. I can go to cart, and I can say that I will also have in the props something known as a minimum property. So what I can do, I can say here that take my minimum property from the props dot I think it is minimum. Okay, so what was it? Minimum, right? And I can just show it here. Now let's see if it works. Yes, you can see it shows me the minimum property, right? Now what I can do here, I can say after showing this minimum property, and one more thing I need to do here, I'm showing a number. I want to send a number, right? So I need to do it like this, not in curly braces. Curly braces means string. I need to send a number, and I'll have to do it like this. Now I'm sending a number, and I can check here. I can say that basically I can check here before showing this subtract -1. What I can do, I can do the same thing. I can attach a curly braces, and I can check for the condition. I can say that if the quantity which I have, if it is greater than the, you can say minimum, or you can say props dot minimum. So the minimum which I'm getting for each card, if my quantity, my current quantity, if it is greater than props dot minimum, then only I need to show some string here. So then only I'll show some data here. Else I will show something else. Else I'll show disabled. I'll show that this button is disabled. So it will just display a text of disabled. If that is not the case, it will show the thing which was subtract -1. So it will show subtract -1. That's it. How simple it is. You can add these sort of things. You can see by default, this is the minimum number of cameras I need to buy. Minimum 2. So it is set to minimum 2. If I try to decrease it, okay, one more thing I'll have to do. So here it is fine, but here also I'll have to change the condition, right? So if quantity is not just smaller than or greater than 1, I need to check for two things. If quantity is greater than 1 and if quantity is greater than props dot minimum. So what did I do? I attached two properties together, guys. This is how you do it. You say and. You say if this and this both properties are true, both properties match, then only do this thing, else display a null property. That is what it says. So if I just, yes. So this is what it means. So now if I go back and refresh, so it displays a minimum quantity of 2, which is the minimum quantity I can buy for a camera. If I try to disable it, no, I can't. But if its quantity is greater than this, you can see I'm seeing subtract -1. If I subtract it, I know that I can still buy 4 cameras. I can still buy 3 cameras. But the point I get to the minimum, it will say disabled. You cannot decrease it more than that. So you'll have to buy minimum 2 cameras. Similarly, if I increase, you can see it says subtract -1. But if I reach the end point, if I can't go smaller than this, it will show disabled. That's how simple it is to make a website interactive. Okay. Everything seems to work absolutely fine. Right. So yeah, guys, I just showed you a small example of how you can do this section, or how you can create a small card-based application. Yes, guys. So that is it, guys. We will be stopping here. This is our end. This is the last boot camp, or you can say day 7 of the boot camp, and we will be stopping here. If you want, I can share this code with you so that you can visit or basically view it. So I'll copy the Sandbox link and I'll provide to you in the chat box, and I'll pin it at the top, guys. This is the pinned message at the top. So if you want to look into the code and how exactly it is done, you can go for it. Okay. And guys, if you want to work on it, there is also a better way. Okay, let's say you want to work on the same code. How can you do it? You can't edit my code, but if you want to work on the same code, simply click on this fork button, guys. You click on this fork button and it will create a copy for you. Okay, it will create a copy of this code for you. And then you can start working with it, guys. I'll give you the attendance, don't worry. I'll give you the sticky notes and the attendance. So this is the attendance link, guys, for today. So I'll just copy it and I'll provide it to you in the chat box as well. So guys, it is present in the chat box. Please fill it as soon as possible because I will be deleting that from the chat box in the next 10 seconds, guys. So please fill it. Until then, I will talk about how to submit the project, guys. So you will be given approximately a week of time for creating your own project. Okay. The final submission project, you will be given that much time for it, 1 week. Then you will be given on the groups, on the official, you can say Discord group or WhatsApp group, whichever group you are part of, you will be provided with the final project submission link. In that you will have to fill your details. And guys, please create your project on code Sandbox. The reason why you can see I can simply share a code Sandbox link to you. Similarly, in the form, you will have to share similar link with me, okay, in the form, so that I can see your code and I can look into it. Okay, that is the reason I want you to share a code Sandbox link. Create your project in code Sandbox and share it to me. That is what I want you to do. Okay, now what exactly is the project? The project can be anything, whatever you want to create. It just needs to use all the different functionalities we talked about. That's it. That is it, what you need to do. So let's say we talked about how to create multiple pages. So your project should have at least 2 pages. Okay, that's the minimum deed you need to do. Now we also talked about use state. We also talked about props. So your project should be able to have use states and props. We also talked about how to use different, you can say, CSS styles. So how to use CSS styles in React, how to create multiple components, how to pass data from one component to another. So your basically project should have these small features. It's totally on you what you want to create. There is no boundaries, there is no restrictions. You can do that on your own. Yeah, guys. So I will be removing the link for now attendance. Yes, guys. So that is it for this bootcamp, guys. We will be ending our session here. Thank you everyone and have a nice day. And I hope we'll meet in our next bootcamp where we will talk about a lot of new interesting things, guys. So till then, have a nice day, guys. And yeah, guys, that is it. We'll be ending our class. Guys, I told you, you will be provided with a submission link. A form will be provided to you. Okay. It will not be provided now. You have a week of time. After that, it will be provided to you in the groups. It can even be provided to you before the completion of the week. It will have a deadline written inside it, that this is the last deadline till which you can submit this form. Okay, then you can submit it before that and you can get your certification. Okay, so guys, that is it for this bootcamp. I hope we'll meet in a new one and we'll talk about something new. So till then, guys, bye bye and take care and have a nice day, guys. And yes, definitely keep on trying, keep on learning new things. And that is it for this bootcamp, guys. Bye everyone. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.